obsolete, Mr. Wordsworth.
Lie. No man is obsolete.
It's a cookbook.
Who are we?
When will they take the bandages off?
You're a bad man. You're a very bad man.
Lemon sucker here. He's the most suspicious of the bunch.
My name is Talkie Tina, and I'm beginning to hate you.
I believe you're going my way.
Live from Willoughby at the heart of the Twilight Zone. Here are your hosts, Alex and Tyler, the prestigiously perfect podcast in which we call The Twilight Zone.
What is up, neighbors? I'm Alex.
And I'm Tyler.
Welcome to the Twilight Gnome podcast, episode 76. What episode are we going to be discussing this week, Ty?
This week we have He's Alive.
Season 4, Episode 4, original air date January 24th, 1963. This was written by Rod, which was kind of obvious.
Yeah.
We can get into it a little bit more later, but obviously you might be able to recall, I just don't like episodes that are preachy.
I mean, I like this one was it was poignant, but just a bit long. I think what would have made this episode a lot better is if it wasn't a season 4. If they had just shrunken it down to the normal 30-minute length, it would have made it a lot better.
There's a couple other issues we'll get into, I think, with this one, but overall it was okay. And then this was directed by Stuart Rosenberg, who did 3 Twilight Zones. You ready for him?
Let's hear him.
He did, in Season 1, I Shot an Arrow into the Air, and then he did his 2 other ones in Season 4. He did back-to-back, He's Alive and Mute.
I love Mute.
The only one.
Yep. That's fine.
We'll jump right into it, Ty. What was your favorite moment?
My favorite moment was when he first gets his lessons from, spoiler alert, it's Hitler, if you hadn't seen the episode yet.
What?
When he first meets him down there on the stoops, and he kind of like tells him how to give an impassioned speech.
My favorite moment, I mean, I'll get to my moment afterwards, but just Dennis Hopper's performance in this, man, is fucking
That's
awesome.
not a moment.
I know, I'm
you
just
can't just say
saying
your favorite moment is this actor.
Does he not make this episode?
Oh, for sure. Hands down, he is the star of, I mean, obviously he's the star of this episode, but I mean, like, he really makes this episode pop off the page onto the screen.
I might dare say this might be one of the best performances I've seen. It would be in my running of best performances.
I would agree. Dennis Hopper here, I mean, he's a big celebrity still nowadays for a reason, so.
But he's dead now.
He's dead?
He is.
Must have been not that long ago.
He died in like 2010.
Oh. Wow. Okay. That would explain why I haven't seen any movies from him recently.
Could be. But I guess if I had to pick a moment, it would be the longest death speech of all time at the end there, when the old man's dying and Ernst gets shot and then just has to lecture him, has like a Rod Serling lecture moment, and then like he looks like he about to, and also your hatred. It's like, dude, just die, old man.
I thought you were talking about Dennis Hopper's death. It's like he says no words, or other than like I'm made of steel, and that's
that was
it.
very
that was
Dennis
really
Reynolds.
short.
You've made a mistake. I'm made of steel. I am.
Very very Dennis Reynolds from Always Sunny.
We have the technology to rebuild it.
Doctor, what have you created?
I am, for all intent and purposes, AI, sir.
So every week I put a prompt into ChatGPT, come up with a Rod Serling style intro to the episode we are watching, and this week it came up with this. Portrait of a young man, Peter Vollmer. A man with more ambition than reason, more rage than purpose. He commands a following, or at least he believes he does. A meager assembly of discontent huddled together in basements and back alleys, railing against an uneasy enemy. Tonight, Mr. Vollmer will discover that when you cry out for guidance, sometimes something answers. The question is not whether the answer comes, but from where, and at what cost. Tonight, Peter Vollmer's education begins in the most disquieting of classrooms, the Twilight Zone.
Peter's railing in the back alleys there.
He sure is. Did that one make sense?
Yeah, that made sense.
You think so?
Yeah.
I was reading.
I mean,
like,
I just started to laugh when I heard railing in a back alley, and then I stopped paying attention as much. But
for some reason, ChatGPT did that update to number 5, and I actually think it's like worse.
Yeah, the Microsoft one that I used did an update too for images, and it also got worse.
Let us know, listeners, if you're AI users, have you noticed that since the potential, or
Maybe they're trying to make the AI less smart.
Maybe.
Keep them from taking over.
All right, so every week Tyler and I come up with a few questions for each other, keep each other on our toes while watching said episode. I have 3.
I also have 3.
It is
even
even,
number.
so I'll go. What is the number on the police car?
I didn't notice there was one. I'm going to say 7.
260.
Can't imagine they'd need that many police cars. What's the temperature in the opening shot?
Like 99 degrees, like just under 100.
It's 96.
All right. What is the number of Ernest's apartment building?
Oh, that was my next one. It's 134.
Yes. It was kind of a trick question because when
Because
it shows
it says
it the first
1-3.
time,
I know. I wrote down
I
1-3,
did 13 as
and then I
well.
kept watching, and I saw, oh shit, there's a third digit there.
I know. I was like, I thought that looked like a jacket. You couldn't be more wrong. It's 13.
Yeah, I did the same. My last one. What does the sign say behind the spiral staircase?
No jacking off. I don't know.
It says dressing room.
No. All right. And my final question, how much money did they owe for the hall rental?
$200. That was an easy one.
I-
That was a gimme.
I was running out. All right, I guess we will jump right into the plot of this one.
Starts with a image of a thermometer showing it's a very hot day, 96 degrees to be exact. And we can hear there's some sort of like protest speech sort of going
And
on.
another thing. I like how it opens up like on a cat and then like the perspective of just a stranger or a random person
Yeah,
observing the events.
I
there.
like that too.
He gives the speech. It isn't really going very well. He's like, all roads lead to Palestine. They lead to Africa, the Vatican. There's your conspiracy. And then some guy in the audience, obviously the audience really isn't
Yeah, it's clear
catching
that
the drift here.
it's clear that the audience is not they're not enthralled with what he's saying, and he's also just clearly not a very good orator either.
And the guy's just like, if anyone comes to your doorstep, buddy, it's going to be a guy in a white coat. And then, obviously, Peter, Dennis Hopper here, gets very upset. He's like, oh, you think it's funny? Your country being sold out? And I'll play a little bit of this, because I think it's good to kind of see who Peter is.
Let me tell you something right now. Someday this country's gonna wake up. They're gonna wake up. And when they find out how Izzy sold him out and how Rastus sold him out and how Pancho sold him out, they're gonna make up a list of all the people that get paid back. And you know where you're gonna be? You're gonna be right on top of that list. Right on the top.
Throws food. Food
Is that a tomato or something?
I think it was a tomato because clearly it's splatter, so it's not like a hard food, and I don't think they'd be throwing like just ketchup because that'd be difficult.
Right. And then I like the fight music, very Simpsons.
I didn't even notice there was fight music going on.
I'll play just a second of it because I don't want it to get taken down, but it's classic fight music.
Very Raiders of the Lost Ark kind of fight music, yeah.
Yeah, so the brawl starts, the Nazis get their ass kicked, and the guy who kicks his ass is just like, you're going to look in a mirror tonight, buddy, and you're just going to see a scrawny asshole with a big mouth, and then the cops arrive. Everyone scatters, and then the cops just like, what happened here? It's the communists. They were all communists.
I was just like, oh, I don't, what do I call these people? I don't like them. I guess they're just communists, which I feel like in the 60s was a very just like, oh, anyone that's an asshole, they're a communist.
Right, it's kind of like what racist has now become, really. It's just kind of throwing words at someone you don't like.
Yep.
And the cop's just like, hey, buddy, you forgot your flag. And he drops it in the fire, so obviously the cops, no one is on the sides of these guys' opinions. They go down an alleyway, and then they see Nick, and he's obviously been hiding, but he jumps out, and I had to fight 10 of them off myself.
There was so many on me, I just barely got away.
This doesn't really seem to bother Pete, though. He's just like, oh, all right, it is what it is.
I think he just is so downtrodden at this point. He's like, no one really is listening. He's doing these rallies that nobody cares about, and then he kind of also must know Nick as a person. It's said later on, like he knew him for a long time, so he probably also just knew like Nick's the kind of person that's just gonna run away.
Right. And then Peter's kind of just like, I know what I want to say them, I just can't find the words. If only essentially asking for guidance of, how can I do this? I need a teacher.
When you wish upon a star, but it's a really dark star.
And then Rod brings us in.
Portrait of a Bush League Fuhrer named Peter Vollmer, a sparse little man who feeds off his self-delusions and finds himself perpetually hungry for want of greatness in his diet. And like some goose-stepping predecessors, he searches for something to explain his hunger and to rationalize why a world passes him by without saluting. The something he looks for and finds is in a sewer. In his own twisted and distorted lexicon, he calls it faith, strength, truth. But in just a moment, Peter Vollmer will ply his trade on another kind of corner, a strange intersection in a shadowland called the Twilight Zone.
He's gonna do his trade on another street corner. Next shot, he's just hooking on the corner.
There goes Pete, hooking away.
Next shot, Pete walks up to what we assume is his apartment. We hear some cello music. He takes his dirty clothes off before he goes into the building.
I thought the cello at first, when I first watched it, I assumed that it was like
the score,
background music. Yeah, I didn't think it was part of what's the word, diegetic versus non-diegetic, right? Where
I believe so.
Music is either I think diegetic is like it's part of the story.
I like when movies fuck with that, like when you're like hearing a song and someone's like, "What the fuck? That's an annoying song," and they turn it off or something like that.
I really enjoy that. Yeah, and then this was kind of a play on that too, where you think it's this like orchestral music just sort of playing as part of the episode, but then he opens the door and we find, oh, it's actually because someone's playing the violin in there. So I thought that was pretty cool.
And it's an old man, and he's just like, "All right, wash your face." He's like, "You need anything?" He's like, "Oh, have a drink, I guess. Like, have some wine." And he pours him a big double shot of wine because he figures he needs it.
And Pete just gulps it down like a thirsty bitch, and then to which Ernst says, "One sips wine, Peter," which very reminiscent of Jeopardy Room, although I guess Jeopardy Room came later, so Jeopardy Room's reminiscent of this.
This precedes it. Yes, it was. And then Ernst sees his Nazi logo while he's lecturing him, gets pretty mad, and Peter asks, "Can I still stay here tonight?" He's like, "Of course you can." And he's like, "Thanks, you're a good friend." This is where it starts getting weird for me, because like I just don't think his character would be any part of that. Like if he really cared for this guy that much, it just doesn't. That the relationship makes no sense. I feel like they could have gone about that in a different way. Like if it was like if the Nazi character was older and maybe he had like a grandkid that was like a black kid or something like that and learned to, like, I don't know, like just their relationship. It seems not believable that Pete would be the leader of this group.
I don't know. I mean, they try to explain it in the way of that the reason Pete's in this movement is because he was like abused as a child, and even though like Ernst took care of, I guess it doesn't really make any sense because Ernst is the one that's taking care of him, yet he's kind of lashing out at like the people that Ernst are like because Ernst is he's Jewish, and so why would he be in league with Nazis? The whole thing just doesn't. I agree. It is a little bit confusing as to their backstory and why Peter would have grown up the way he did.
Sleep on the couch.
Look, why don't you understand? You're like a father. You're the only thing in the world that I've ever loved.
So it just doesn't make any sense. I don't believe it because of their relationship.
I understand it from Ernst's perspective of like Peter is his son for all intents and purposes, and so even though he does these evil things, Ernst still cares for him on an underlying level, and like he says, like he still sees the underlying child that's scared.
I get that, but I just don't understand why. I don't believe Peter would think these opinions if he was raised by this guy.
I mean, but he wasn't fully raised by him, was he? He was also raised
No,
mostly
but you'd think that you would see through the bullshit of the friggin' Nazi propaganda that he's being fed if he knows that this guy's like one of his best friends and is a Jewish man. Like, I just don't.
Yeah.
It's stupid. That
it is
whole
a bit,
logic of it
is
really
a bit hard
hinders
to believe.
the episode for me.
Yeah, that Peter would kind of go down the path that he went down,
But anyway, Ernst leaves and he turns the lights off and Peter kind of goes to sleep. And this is also where we could get into like, this could just be a dream. It could be like a metaphor, like Hitler getting into you as any prejudice or belief.
You think
like
the
that.
whole thing after him going to sleep is a dream?
Not a dream, but I don't know if it's actually happening because obviously, like we see, Nick doesn't actually see him. So,
well, so that I'm saying. So I definitely think Hitler was in his mind the whole time. I don't think that like.
But I think it's supposed to be like Rod's using Hitler as like a social contagion for something that's really bad spreading. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, obviously.
But
that's, you nailed the you got the nail on the head there.
But that's what I don't know. Yeah. So anyway, Hitler is outside. Well, a mysterious shadow man is outside of his porch here, And he's just like, Pete's like, who's out there? A friend, Mr. Vollmer.
And
Come
I think
down.
I just sorry to interrupt, but like another part about this definitely being in his head, he just suddenly happens to wake up and look out the window and see a man standing there and be like, hey, I should talk to this man out the window. I think that's definitely a point towards the Hitler being there is definitely within his own mind.
For sure. Pete's like, how do you know my name? How did you get here? I followed your tears. He's like, I want to talk to you about some things. The things you believe in, I believe in too. Your success will be my success. And he's like, but first you must learn how to excite a crowd, join them, speak as if you're one of the mob members, get on their level, make their hate your hate. And if they're angry, give them objects for their anger. And then you can make a mob an extension of yourself. The mysterious man then starts kind of giving a speech like, let's say, hello, neighbors. And he gives this whole rigmarole.
But then immediately Peter does the exact same thing. Like, he doesn't even try to make it his own. He literally just takes
it
word for word of what Hitler just said. It's like, okay, but like he was just trying to teach you, not say this exactly verbatim.
Which also could be in his head, because Hitler saying it could be the words in his head, and then he portrays them.
True.
And then I really do like the shot of the transition to that speech continues over into the rally, the next rally.
That was a cool shot.
And he's giving the speech. This time, there's quite a few more people there, and he just seems to be a little bit better of a speech giver, I suppose.
Yeah, definitely. People are definitely listening more, and he seems definitely more impassioned with what he's saying and clear and concise in what he's trying to convey, which I think speaks to the crowd there. And then at the end, though, we find out they owe some money to the guy that...
Well, I wanted to play some of his little speech here, because I wanted to ask your opinion on... It seems like he, circle talks. Like, he's, saying that there's a problem. Like, he gets, on their side, let's say, oh, the rent is too damn high here. And, but that's the problem. But, he throws in, he starts, but then the Jewish man, and, throwing in these things. And obviously we know what he's doing, but it's funny, the way he does it so clumsy. He almost, mind fucks you and, forgetting what you were... what was I thinking about?
I think that's the whole point that Rod was trying to initiate in here, is that, people like this, they are literally just breathing hot air of nothingness. There's no content to what he's saying. He's just trying to rile people up and get them angry from literally nonsense that he spews.
Shall I tell you who the minorities are? We are the minorities! Because patriotism is a minority. Because love of country is the minority. Because to live in a free, white America seems to be of a minority opinion.
This right here, this is where he starts. And then he that's just what I was saying, the distraction thing he throws in. He's just, the Russians, what does this have to do with any of this? Is it a pride thing? We should have been the first to the moon. We should have done this. I don't understand what he's trying to get at this.
No, with the atom bomb and everything else that he's saying about the moon landing and stuff like that, he's saying at the end of his speech, he says, well, why do you think we lost at all those things? And he's kind of insinuating that someone, either communist or some other scapegoat, is to blame for us losing at these things because they betrayed us somehow.
Yeah, like you said earlier, after the speech, they go outside to the lobby, and the hall rental owner guy's just like, hey, you owe me money. And I like how they're so entitled. We're still growing. Come on.
The most douchey,
you fucking owe us money. I don't give a shit about your predicament here.
Right. And I felt bad for the poor old man, too. He looked on the verge of tears I just need the money. Just give me the $200.
Right.
And then it's at this time that one of Pete's Nazi friends comes in and says, oh, actually, it just so happened to someone dropped $200 exactly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then to add insult to injury to that old hall rental guy, it's here, come take your money, drops it.
See, if I was the hall rental guy and they did that, I'd be like, okay, I'm not renting this to you anymore. Right. You're going to treat me with disrespect. You can fuck off.
Mm-hmm. All the little Nazis leave, and they're all happy with themselves. That was a great night tonight, Pete. We're going to make it now, Frank. And Pete goes back inside onto the stage, and the mysterious man is there again. He's like, excellent performance, Mr. Vollmer. He's like, thank you. I'd like to know who I'm thanking, though, because we still don't know who this guy is.
As if it wasn't obvious.
He's like, but I do have some suggestions for next time. I think from now on, we're going to need a martyr. And this is where he's like, well, how do we find a martyr? Oh, you don't find a martyr. You make one. And this is really cool because we've actually, obviously, there's a term martyr for a reason because people have used this throughout history, but it just makes you think what people have done with some ulterior motives.
Excellent, Mr. Vollmer. An excellent choice.
I was just thinking, there must be some other way.
Another way? There is no other way, Mr. Vollmer. And if you soften up, if you weaken now, there is no point in going on. Now, when Frank comes back, tell him you have discovered an informer. Tell him the informer has done you irreparable damage.
So with Nick there, he confirms for it that this is all within Pete's mind because he can't see the shadowy figure of Hitler sitting there in the back seat. So, well, not back seats, but the back row. Yep. So, yeah, definitely solidifies that for us. But then that also kind of makes up the question of, so if this is all going on within Pete's head, he's definitely very torn. Like he has almost like a split personality of one side saying, we got to create a martyr and kill our friend Nick. And the other side being still like, oh no, he's still my friend. Like, I don't want to do it. So we get to see that very
duality of man.
The duality of man.
Frank comes in. Peter tells him, yeah, Nick's actually been talking to the cops. We need him killed. He's like, let's get rid of him. Frank says, sir, yes, sir. Which we kind of see because, like, earlier, Frank's definitely the more hothead one. Like, he's like, you want me to take care of this hall owner guy first? So,
yep.
I think, obviously, Frank's supposed to represent, like, Hitler's bigger generals, kind of in that aspect. Using my 7th grade literature brain there for that. And he's like, make it look like someone who hates us did it. The next scene, we see the cops finding Nick's body with a sign pinned to him that says, good Nazi.
I don't understand that. How is that supposed to...
Because I think it's like only good Nazi's a dead Nazi.
Oh, well, okay. Because I was like, but how does that really pin it on someone that's not them?
Well, it would put it on anyone that isn't a Nazi, right? If they think all Nazis should be dead Nazis, then obviously the Nazis wouldn't want them. Like,
I thought it was, because when I read it, I was like, a good Nazi. I was like, that kind of seems like someone that like passionately like, oh, I'm so sorry to kill you. You were a good Nazi. Like, I was like,
no,
that's
it definitely
weird.
is trying to hit that only good Nazi is a dead Nazi.
Makes sense.
The next shot, Frank's telling Pete, like, that's done. Let me know if there's anything else you need. Peter walks to the empty stage, practicing his next speech. And he's like, now we have a martyr. And the mysterious man is there, and he starts clapping, and it brings us into commercial. When we come back, it's at the next rally, and there's a big picture of Nick the martyr. Peter and Frank are out back, and the Stanley guy's crying, and he's like, what's the matter, Stanley? Nick was really cool. I liked him. He's like, you want me to really tell you about him? He was a piece of... And I love this because he goes off on how big of a piece of shit he is.
But then he flips it around the minute he walks on stage. He's talking about how great
he
Nick
was. An honorable man.
Yeah.
That, I liked that a lot. He's like, he died for a cause, though. He died for our freedoms. And he's like, but he will not die in vain. They may have taken his heart, but they can't take away his soul. And it reminds me of, did you ever watch Shameless?
I watched the first 3 or 4 seasons, and then it just got repetitive.
There's a season where neo-Nazis move next door, and Kevin steals their flag and burns it. He's like, I bet you guys hate that. And the Nazis are like, no, it's all good, man. Real hatred lives in your heart. You can't. It's like, what the fuck? It just reminded me of that. Nick lives on through us. We got to keep this cause going. Next shot, we're across the street at a bar, and Ernst is there. I don't know is that like a bar? It looks like
I thought it was like a soda shop.
Yeah,
because it definitely seems like it's more of like a soda shop kind of place than like a dingy bar.
Right, and then the bartender or soda jerk or whatever is just like, that kid's bringing in quite a few people around these days. And Ernst's like, yeah, I've seen this before. And the other guy's like, well, that was another time, another place. And Ernst kind of tells him a story of, well, it happened this time, or it did happen once. I'll play a little bit of that.
Yeah, play some of that.
Another place, another kind of people. That doesn't go here.
That's what we said too. They were brown scum. Temporary insanity, part of the passing scene, too monstrous to be real. So we ignored them, or laughed at them, because we couldn't believe that there were enough insane people to walk alongside of them. And then one morning, the country woke up from an uneasy sleep, And there was no more laughter.
Obviously, like, what he's saying is poignant, and I get it, and it's a very good thing that we do in talking about things and having episodes like this. It does remind you that this can happen, but I just, for some reason, I mean, I don't know if it's because I really like history, so I know history repeats itself, but I just don't like having the nail hit right into the head.
See, I like the poignantness of it, and it, like you just said, it that whole speech right there that he kind of gives is very much, you need to be aware of history so that it doesn't repeat itself, because those that don't learn their history are doomed to repeat it, which is kind of the whole point that he's making with, like, oh, back then we didn't, like, put much, we kind of laughed off these kind of Peter Vollmer type people, and then a bunch of shit happened, so we better not let that happen again.
For sure. He's just like, well, I'm not going to let this happen again, and he leaves, and he heads to the rally. Peter's on stage doing his thing when onto the stage, Ernest walks up. Pete kind of just stops, like, dead in his tracks, kind of like deer in the headlights. And he's like, no, go on, Pete, tell him. He's like, I've heard it before. It was dribble then, it's dribble now. And he's like, look at this guy. He's just a 1963 Fuhrer, a cheap copy. Peter's like, come on, man, that's enough. And then
I like the line that he uses, too, where he says, you take applaud like a needle. Like, he's doing this all just for the applaud and, like, for the fame of it all, and he just wants the attention and the people to clap at him and like him.
Right.
And doesn't really matter what necessarily he's saying. He just kind of wants that attention.
And then Pete's really not doing anything, and Frank's just like, come on, man, he's making you look like a bitch. Fucking do something about it. And Ernst's like, yeah, do something about it, Pete. And he kind of Serling lectures him a little bit more, and eventually Pete snaps, slaps him, and was that like a sign of weakness, though? Like, because he's like, that's all your people can do. Be like, what do you want me to do?
I mean, what do you mean a sign of weakness on whose part?
On Peter's.
Because he slaps him?
Because he slaps him. That's what everyone's kind of like, oh. I don't know. I got that. The whole situation was very confusing to me. Like, I don't think, that's another thing. Their relationship is just, doesn't do it for me in this episode. I like both their acting, but their dynamic together's, I don't like it.
No, it's because it's like a father and son sort of situation, and he doesn't want to have to put Ernst down, even though he physically could, and Ernst doesn't want to have to embarrass him like this, but he needs to in order to stop the movement. So, like, both of them are at a crossroads here of how do we move forward in this situation, and the decisions you make are going to kind of set you on a certain path, and then Peter makes the first step of slapping Ernst, and that kind of, like, definitely puts a line in the sand there between them in their relationship.
And then after all this embarrassment, Ernst walks out. We get that cool shot of him walking out, and then everyone from the arena walks out, because that means, like, his movement's pretty much dying, or that guy just put it to rest.
Yep.
The next scene, Pete's crying in the auditorium, and he hears the mysterious man again. He's just like, you have the voice of a lion, but you fight like a rabbit. And it's like, why don't you, and then Peter's just like, why don't you come up here and fight with me then, if you know all this shit? And wouldn't you know it, I'll play a little bit of this. We finally get the reveal of who this mysterious man is.
Oh my God, I'm waiting on pins and needles. Who could it be?
Why don't you give me a name and a face and a reason why?
Mr. Vollmer, I was making speeches before you could read them. I was fighting battles when your only struggle was to climb out of a womb. I was taking over the world when your universe was a crib. And as for being in darkness, Mr. Vollmer, I invented darkness.
I invented darkness. Very Emperor Palpatine, the whole episode.
Oh, that's what you're thinking? I immediately thought of Bane. You merely adopted the darkness. I was raised in it.
And then I like how Peter runs, which, like, you idolize and love this man. Why would you run? Wouldn't you, like, bow like Vader, be like, my Emperor?
No, I think, again, he still hasn't completely fully gotten behind which side he wants to be on, because there's still that child within him that still loves Ernst. If you're going with the
it's all in his head thing.
Yes, this is all in his head, and he still doesn't know which path he's going to take yet, so he's running because there's still a part of him that doesn't want to follow the Hitler path.
Right. Next shot, Pete runs back to the auditorium, even though he was just running from there, and he's like, you chose me. And he's like, no, you chose me, and now you must take whatever comes with it. And I did like that. And now you'll be built of steel. That old man that he made fun of you tonight. I know his kind. He'll be back. So you need to go kill him now.
Yeah, what does he say? He says, you invoked my name and my slogans. And then the whole part about steel, which they definitely hit a lot on they kind of, what's the word? Beat that horse to death.
Yep.
With the whole steel part. I mean, I get the analogy. They're both saying your skin will be like steel, and so nothing can hurt you, but then your heart will also be steel, so emotionally you will also be able to do terrible things and not kind of feel the emotional weight of it.
And when Hitler says now, he does it right now. Because you notice that really awkward cut?
I did not.
Which also like kind of makes it feel dreamlike. Like he literally opens the door to the auditorium to leave, and then he's in Ernst's apartment. It's really weird. You didn't want me to show you?
I think that's probably just for time purposes.
Well, I mean, it's a 40-minute episode. They got something else out. I don't know. It looks really weird. I didn't like it.
Oh, I like that shot. That's a cool shot. Yeah, because it's kind of, what are they called? A matte shot, where you like one action kind of leads into the next.
It's like the auditorium went right into Ernst's apartment. It's so weird.
I mean, I suppose you could read that as dreamlike. I just read that as a really cool shot and cool way to kind of cut between the two.
Right. He goes to his house and he's like, "You didn't listen to me, old man." And he kind of does get a little Anakin to him, but I still kind of like it.
Also, where did he get the gun from? Did Hitler give him the gun, or did he always own a gun?
I don't know.
Because it like never shows it up until this point, and then like boom, surprise, he just picks it up out of nowhere.
No,
Boom,
Hitler gives in the previous scene. Hitler gave him it.
Oh, okay, that's what I just asked.
Yeah,
I was like, did Hitler give him a gun? You're like, I don't know.
No, he did. I do remember. I'm sorry. Pete's just like, yeah, it's not just me now anymore, old man. We got someone behind us. And he's like, oh, I bet he's an opposing guy. He's like, he is. You would tremble at him. And like I say, it gets very Obi-Wan and Anakin.
Yeah, it's a bit over the top.
And then I'll play a little bit of this because this is kind of like the final words from Ernst to Peter. And they're kind of good. If you strike me down in anger, Darth,
I will only become more powerful.
Ernst, I'm made of steel. No sentiment. No softness.
Then shoot. Kill. Destroy me.
And he kills him.
The whole steel analogy, too, also seems very shoehorned in at the very end. I would have liked it if, like, they had, at the beginning, when he was first talking to Ernst, if they'd kind of, like, thrown in a line of, like, you don't need to have this, like, heart of steel, like, you can kind of be vulnerable, it's okay, or something like that, so that it finally loops back around to the end. Otherwise, it just kind of seems thrown in at the end.
It's at this time that Ernst gives the longest death speech of all time, and when he finally dies, we go back to the auditorium, and Pete's kind of staring at the gun like, what have I done? Again, very Anakin. I was getting so much Anakin from Revenge of the Sith in this episode.
Yeah, I can definitely see that.
And then over the PA, we hear Hitler, and he's like, Mr. Vollmer, don't forget, you're made of steel, no regrets. What did you destroy last night? And Peter's like, a disease, a growth that needed to be removed. It was not a man, definitely not a man. He's like, how did it make you feel? It made me feel immortal. And I felt like the episode should have ended here. It would have went up an extra point if it ended here. I think this was before like the bad guys could win, so it had to show the cops come and all that. But it would have been more scary to know that this guy's still out there and he's bringing his hate everywhere else. It gets stopped, but I think that is a consequence of 60s cinema not having the bad guys win.
Yeah, I agree. I think that would have been more terrifying if they had ended it right there with him feeling all high and mighty and powerful, and kind of leaving him alive to kind of run around and amok in the Twilight Zone.
I think that would have been a lot better.
They kind of still end it in a similar way. Like, even though he dies later on, the shadow of Hitler kind of is the thing that kind of lurks around, which I guess is to more of the point. Like, it's not specifically a story about
that can overtake
Peter.
Any man.
It's about, yes, like the insidious thoughts and ideas of like Hitler and people like him, not necessarily the individual themselves. So I think they did well the way they did it. It would have been interesting to see it that way too if they did end it here, though.
For sure. But instead, the cops come in and they're like, hey, you're under arrest for the killing of Nick, which, how would they tie him to that?
Well, they didn't say the killing of Nick. They said you were involved with it. Like, they don't, what would it be called? Like a second degree? Like if you were like associated with or something like that?
Either way, they chase him down. They shoot him. He dies. And he's like, you've made a mistake. I'm made of steel, you see.
Very Dennis Reynolds there, too.
And then Rod takes us out.
Where will he go next? this phantom from another time, this resurrected ghost of a previous nightmare. Chicago, Los Angeles, Miami, Florida, Vincennes, Indiana, Syracuse, New York. Any place, every place. Where there's hate, where there's prejudice, where there's bigotry. He's alive. He's alive so long as these evils exist. Remember that when he comes to your town. Remember it when you hear his voice speaking out through others. Remember it when you hear a name called, a minority attacked, any blind, unreasoning assault on a people or any human being. He's alive because through these things, we keep him alive.
And that is our episode. Tyler, what did you learn?
If you ever see a man whose face is shrouded in shadow, it's probably Hitler.
Probably. That was a Hitler. All right, we'll jump right into ratings. IMDb currently has this at a 7.5 out of 10. I'll go first because I think you might have liked this a little bit more than I did. I'm going to give this a 5. There's nothing really bad about it. There's nothing really good about it. There's a few things I would change on both ends. The length of it obviously is a hinder. This is one of the episodes that the half an hour would have been a little bit better. Dennis Hopper's performance is fucking incredible. Like I said, probably one of the best performances in the Twilight Zone. Like I said, just the relationship between him and Ernst kind of bothers me. It just doesn't seem believable to me. And again, I just don't really like stuff that is, hey, you get this? Get it? Get the point? I don't like that type of stuff. I mean, I get it. Why I could see why this would be. It's an important piece of film and a good thing to show people, but it's just not my cup of tea.
I'm going to give this a 6.5. I'm on the opposite side. I love poignant things, and this was very poignant without being like super over the top. But and again, great acting from everyone, but specifically Dennis Hopper's performance. Like you said, I think this might be the best acting that certainly that we've seen so far out of the 76 episodes, but possibly out of the entire series run. Just amazing acting. But yeah, the twist isn't really a twist. It's very predictable. You knew from the minute that you saw this shadowy figure it was going to be Hitler.
It's very not Twilight Zone-y. Like, it's an important message, but it's not Twilight Zone.
Yeah, it lacks. I mean, even though there's like, oh, this Hitler's alive, it's still obviously insinuated that it's all in his head. So yeah, there's no like magic or like weird science thing going on here that would make it Twilight Zone-y. And it does stretch a bit long. I think a 30-minute run would have certainly helped this, but other than that, yeah, like I love the message, love the poignancy of it, and amazing acting.
Who are they? Where are they? What are they? Let's find out together in the Twilight Gnome presents Inside the Twilight Zone.
All right, so this week we have Dennis Hopper, and unfortunately this is the only episode of The Twilight Zone he did. It would have been cool to see him maybe do another one or two. But he played Peter, and he was in Easy Rider. He was in Blue Velvet, Speed, Waterworld. He was in one of the voices in GTA Vice City. He was in the Super Mario's brother, where he plays Bowser. He was in Cool Hand Luke, which was also directed by Stuart Rosenberg, who directed this episode.
Oh, cool.
Just so many things, and it is unfortunate that we only get one episode with him, but it's a hell of a performance, like we stated earlier. Then we have Ludwig Donath. He played Ernst. He was in One Playhouse 90, One Studio One. He actually played Hitler in the 1943 movie The Strange Death of Adolf Hitler. He died a couple years after this episode. I think he died in like 67 or something, I believe it said. But he was in a lot of movies in the 40s, and then a couple of like the upper scale, I would call, TV shows of the 50s, like Studio One and all those playhouses. And then we have Paul Mazersky. He played Frank. He was in 5 episodes of Curb Your Enthusiasm as an old man. He was in the 1976 version of A Star is Born, and he was in 3 Twilight Zones. He was obviously in this. He was in The Purple Testament and The Gift.
Who is he in Curb?
I don't know.
Great
question, Tyler.
You love Curb. I'm surprised you didn't.
He was in like 5, and there's so many episodes. It's just like old man.
He's not like a
background.
reoccurring
No.
character. Okay,
probably someone at like the retirement home for his dad or something, I would imagine. Rod considered this one of the most important episodes, which I can understand why. It just doesn't do it for me, but I see how it could be definitely one of the more important episodes. And Rod received a lot of hate mail, as you can imagine, for this episode. And they used real money. Apparently, they usually use fake money, like stage money. They don't use U.S. currency on film.
I was going to say, I didn't think you were allowed to use real money in
They
movies.
did in this.
Oh, interesting.
In total, this episode cost $105,315, which is about par for Season 4. Season 4 was typically around $90 to $100. The director received $2,885, which is actually quite a bit, and the cast received $11,164.
What'd you say to me, Mike?
What's in the name, Mr. Whittaker, really? A mere question of semantics. Just language. A mere stretch of words.
So every week, Tyler and I come up with a few alternative titles to the episodes we are watching, and you can as well if you want to go on the Facebook page or on this video for the next video, comment what you want to submit for yours. But anyway, I have 3.
I have 5.
Go for it.
All right, I'm starting with my debacle. I'm sure you have it too. The dictator debacle.
Damn it, I'm fucking so stupid. I just have the Hitler debacle, but the dictator one's so much better.
It doesn't even, there's no alliteration. We do D's with the debacle.
I know, I was looking for it too. That one just fucking
really
escaped me.
I for sure thought we were both going to get that one.
Right. Very good. I applaud you.
You go.
I'm the Hitler debacle.
All right. I got Mein Führer.
I got the Puppet Master.
I have The Face of a Fascist. I have Distorted Delusions of Grandeur.
Pretty good. I got a Peter Nazi Leader.
Oh, that's a good one. I like that one. And my last one, A Gift from the Sewers.
Just picturing someone giving you poop. Switcheroos, I have 5.
I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
All right, I'll go first then. Judgment Night.
Yep, I got that one. Steel.
Nope, that's a good one. Shadow Play.
No. The Fear.
Dead Man Shoes.
No. The Invaders.
Changing of the Guard.
And this one's slightly a switch up. Will the Real Nazi Please Stand Up?
And I have In His Image.
Yeah, nice. All right, so slim pickings for references this week. We do have in the background at the very end of this episode, there is a shot of a movie poster in the background, and the movie poster is for a 1936 movie called Devil Doll. Never heard of it or seen it, but apparently that is there. The only one I could really think of that's like a good one, a good catch, is from Futurama. Futurama, if anyone has never seen it before, they do little segments called The Scary Door. Which basically just a parody version of the Twilight Zone. And in one of the Scary Door episodes, they kind of like throw together 5 different Twilight Zone episodes into one, where in this one in particular, it's a man, he's on a plane, or first he thinks he's dead because he's like winning a lot at a casino, and then someone pulls a mask off from him, and it turns out that he's Hitler the whole time. So slight nod to this episode there with that. The only other thing I could think of too, there's an episode of South Park from season 13 called P, in which Cartman sings a song about being the minority at the water park.
All right, so every week Tyler picks the episodes, and he does so by showing me an AI-generated picture. I play a little game where I have to guess what it is. Now, are you going to keep the theme rolling, and you're going to get both the Nazi episodes out of the way so we don't have to do them again?
Nope.
No Death's Head Revisited.
Plus, that's a death episode. We're in a block of others.
Oh, does someone actually die in that? It's like ghosts.
I mean, it's about death.
I guess so.
Death doesn't necessarily mean that someone has to die in the episode. It just can be about death, or like the fear of death, or like just. I mean, it literally has the name Death in the episode.
True.
Death's Head Revisited.
All right, so I have no idea. So that's another.
It's another.
Probably not going to be season 4, or I think we just did season 1. I'm in the dark here.
All right, you ready for the picture?
Kick the Can. Very heartwarming episode. I like this episode.
Yeah.
I'm guessing you don't like this one.
No, it was fine. I wouldn't call it heartwarming, though, because the one guy got left out at the end.
He didn't believe in the magic of
didn't
childhood.
believe in the magic of playing.
That's a good episode. I enjoy that one. I think that's Steven Spielberg's favorite, which is why he redid it in The Twilight Zone, the movie, in 1983.
Interesting.
That is actually a very good version. That one might be the Kick the Can version in the movie, might be a little bit better.
I've never seen the movie. Is the movie just a collection of shorts like redone as...
They do 3, and then they do an original.
So it's not really a movie. It's a collection of.
It's very
kind of
weird. Like the
episodes.
beginning is Dan Aykroyd and the guy that plays Nemo's dad there. What the hell's his name? That actor.
I have no idea who the voice of Nemo's dad is.
Oh, the guy who's in The Simpsons a lot. Damn it. Anyway, I'm drawing a blank. But anyway, those two are in a car together, and they're talking about, oh, you remember this TV show? Remember this? Very boomer thing. And they're like, remember this episode? And then Burgess Meredith is the narrator. It's kind of off the rails, but it is worth watching.
So it kind of has like a movie 43 quality to it, where like the overarching plot is people reminiscing about shit, and then it blends into, okay, so that's just the plot device or like the framing mechanism
To get these 4 stories that have nothing to do with each other.
Okay, gotcha.
But it's worth a watch. But yeah, Kick the Can. I'm excited for it.
You are about to receive a message from the 5th dimension.
All right, so just 2 messages here this week, and they're both on the episode Time Enough at Last, and they're both from Rachel F. And Rachel F. says, one of my favorite episodes, Burge Meredith was such a treasure. Truly he was. And then her other messages, hooray, I was mentioned, Baba Booey.
Baba Booey, Rachel. All right. A little bit of housekeeping, guys. If you could please like and subscribe on the YouTube page, it would mean the world to us. And also, while you're at it, if you could go over to the Facebook page, give that a follow and a like. And if you want to contribute to the new name segment, you can put your submission under the next week's episode picture on Facebook. If you need to get a hold of us for any other reason, you can email us at twilightgnome59@gmail.com. And don't forget to go over to the polls and Ty drops poll every Tuesday, giggity.
I forgot to I'm doing it. It dropped a day late. Sorry, everybody, for this week.
Dropping poll on Wednesday. Jeez. And thank you guys again for listening. It means the world to us. Tyler, my final question for you. Hate groups, huh? Have you ever seen a hate group rally like in the wild? Have you ever seen someone like on the corner just doing shit?
I don't live in a city where I like commonly see shit. I also don't go out often. I'm a homebody, so no, I would say I don't often see like any like picketers or anything like that ever.
Would you stop and listen, or would you just keep walking?
I would just ignore them and try to hope that they don't look at me.
Even if they agreed with you, what if it was something that you agreed with? I feel like even if I would agree, I'm the type of person like I don't like this.
I
many
wouldn't
people
want to be in a crowd in any situation.
Especially one that's starting to get heated.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm the same. Kind of really hard for this one.
Yeah, hard to think of a fun theoretical question.
I guess he was a Nazi and liked being a Nazi a lot, and he got Hitler. What would you like? Who would you like to have come back from the past
as my inspirational guide
for whatever hobbies you have or something like that? You know what I'm saying?
Damn, I don't have many hobbies. I mean, I guess just someone from the dead to come back would be Michael Jackson, but it's not like I would want him to teach me how to sing.
Just want to hang out with the ghost of Michael Jackson.
Actually,
dance for me, Michael.
I'm trying to learn piano, so maybe like I don't know, like Stevie Wonder.
Richard Wright from Pink Floyd. I teach you.
I'm not a big Pink Floyd fan. I guess when I think of piano, I think of like Stevie Wonder or maybe like Beethoven, but then he'd speak German, so I wouldn't understand what he's saying.
And then we'd have the Nazi problem again.
Yeah, I'd probably pick, I guess, Stevie Wonder to teach me piano, or I would just hang out with Michael Jackson just for fun. Who would you pick, Alex, as your inspirational spirit guide?
Axl
Rose.
Axl Rose is still alive, and I don't really like Guns N' Roses. Fucking Axl Rose.
I don't know.
I guess a musician, but I mean...
Elvis? Hey, you gotta eat this ham sandwich.
It would just be friggin' jamming with him, I suppose. It's not like they wouldn't like be like Hitler and be like, and now you'll be the best band in the world. Do you think? I don't know. Because
if they taught you enough on how to be,
because a lot of people are a product.
Here's how you get signed.
But that's not even the way it works anymore.
I don't know.
Like, in a lot of things are like a product of their time. Like, if I brought Kurt Cobain back, like, his messages aren't as poignant anymore. So it's like, it's all about this rage. Like, maybe 30 years ago it was, but that's not really what it's like now.
Oh, bring back like a tycoon investor then, like the
Rockefeller or
Rockefeller. Be
something.
like, how do I become rich?
He'd probably just fuck me over somehow and end up the ghost gets all the money or some shit.
Yeah.
I don't know, that'd be very hard. Yeah, probably a musician, just to jam with someone like that. That'd be cool. Kurt Cobain or Elvis, I guess.
Nice.
Yeah. All right, but until then, Ty, do you have anything to say to our dear, dear listeners?
Yes, thank you all for stepping in the Twilight Gnome with us.
It's 4 o'clock, the howling man is gone.